Now, the Copper Coast, where we are here in Waterford, as well as being very beautiful and very blustery, also has a fascinating history. It stretches from Tramore to Dungarvan, and it gets its name from the copper mines that operated here in the 1800s. You can see the ruins of one of the mines behind me. Well, now that mining history will be told in a series of short films about the miners and their families, and Nationwide went on location with the film crew to find out what life was like in this part of Waterford in the 19th century.
This majestic Waterford coastline from Tramore to Dungarvan is dotted with attractive seaside villages. And today, apart from the impressive remains of the engine houses on the cliffs at Tankardstown, there's little evidence that the Bunmahan area was once a thriving copper mining community. The Copper Coast has been awarded European Geopark designation in recognition of its beautiful coastline, exposing outstanding volcanic geology and its 19th century copper mining heritage. Copper was mined here from the 1820s to the 1870s, and it is this mining history that has inspired the community to commission a series of short films telling the history of the miners of Bunmahan.
Copper Coast Productions, Angela Mulcahy and myself put it together some while back. We're based here at the Art Hand. This is our base here in Bunmahan, and we've been commissioned to make a film. Now, it's not just one film, it's actually 6 films, plus another film, and plus the film that you're shooting today. So there's actually 8 film productions being made here today.
Copper Coast Productions is based in the home of Sean and Miranda Corcoran, who are both artists who run children's art workshops. But their film production facility has begun to take off.
This is a proper movie. I mean, it's going to be staged inside the Copper Coast Geopark, and we got funding through the Metal Links project in association with the Geopark, which is just down the road here in a beautiful converted church, which is going to have a new visitor centre. So the films, although they're about mining, most films about mining involve the kind of mechanical nature of how the whole thing was done and the physical facts and figures. But we're happy that these films are mainly about human story, like it's a social story of a family and how they go about their daily routine. It's a day in the life of a mining family. Now, to piggyback on the back of that, we have 5 shorter films which kind of tell more about the specifics of their lifestyle and how they, where they went to school and their education, their food, their diet. Because we are talking about the 1800s. People didn't have shoes and socks. Many people didn't have shoes and socks. And working in a mine is a difficult job. Men went down underground. Women and children worked above ground. So it's a difficult and dangerous job. So we wanted to tell the human story, but also from an educational point of view, we wanted to kind of have some shorter films that will educate people in the visitor centre and in the exhibition.
Sean is working with local freelance producer-director Angela Mulcahy. Angela once worked in manufacturing in Waterford, but was made redundant in 2007. An ad in the local newspaper resulted in Angela developing a whole new career.
One day I was reading the local paper and I saw this ad for a HDIP in directing for television, a course that was going to be run. It was going to be run by Nematon TV in Ring in County Waterford, and in conjunction with WIT and funded by Udo Osnagrevictor. So I thought, I think that's something I'd like to do.
That year-long course set Angela up as a freelance producer-director, and she's been working steadily ever since.
There's going to be 5 short films depicting the mining era, copper mining era in Bunmahan. The first one will be about the geology and landscape of the area, so it is sort of a technical one. And they're only all 3 minutes long, so they're for visitors and for anybody who wants to see them. The second one will be about copper mining, what goes on in copper mining, like how it's done machine wise and underground and what it's all about. The third one then is going to be about the miner's life, going down in the mines, getting up, working in the mines. These are the ones where we have all the reconstructions in that. And the fourth one is about the living conditions of miners and their families during that era. They were very, very poor, these people. They lived in hovels and very uneducated and that. And we're depicting that as it was, and they're being reconstructed. And the last one is a little one that I have had a huge interest in for a number of years, and I think I kind of spawned the whole idea of making this some years ago when I spoke to the Copper Coast people, the children of the mines. And it's all about the children.
Well, we're called Mobius Studio. We're based in Tremor. We have a couple of studios there between just the 4 houses that we have there, and what we do is we make films essentially, but we make music as well. Mainly cinematographers, bit of production, bit of writing, concept, whatever you want.
Alex worked as a set builder in Australia on some very high-profile films.
The one that everyone knows is Moulin Rouge. Like I did that. That's the best set I've ever been on, just for the fanciness of the set, if that's a word, fanciness. But yeah, we built all that stuff. It was pretty amazing. And to watch all the costume people, dance around and do all their scenes is pretty unique. But then again, I've been on Star Wars and The Matrix, Superman, and then little ones like The Man Who Sued God with Billy Connolly, which no one's ever seen, Judy Davis, and The Night We Called It a Day with Dennis Hopper. No one's ever seen that either. All these films that didn't make it anywhere, but it's cool to see that. I met Dennis Hopper. That's what I was before he died. He's dead now, unfortunately.
And why did you leave that very exciting, high-profile life to come and try your own movies?
Everyone says that. Because I wanted to be behind the camera. Every day I'm on set and I go, I wish I could be behind the camera instead of breathing in dust and paint fumes and whatnot and be Anyway, I wanted to jump behind the camera and I've always been interested in it. So yeah, I thought now's the time. I'm 35 now, so I thought, well, I've got a bit of money. I'll go home. I'll try and set up a company with my brother and the 2 boys upstairs, Mark and Sam, and they're all very talented people.
When the copper mines closed in Bunmahan, the population rapidly decreased, with the majority of the miners emigrating to work in other mines abroad.
The engineering came from Cornwall, but there was a huge influx of local people from the agricultural areas all around, South Tipperary and Waterford, and even people came up from mining areas in Ahilles in West Cork to get the mines going here. Huge increase in population, piled into really not great housing, and then 1870s, back to where it started 100 years earlier in terms of population, and maybe a little bit less. Primarily they went to Montana, which was opening up as a mining country at that time, but also they went to Wales, which was nearby, on Cornwall, and some went to Australia, dispersed all over the world really.
The series of films about the miners of Bunmahan are an educational community project, and once complete will be shown at the Copper Coast Geopark Centre, which is located in Bunmahan.
A wonderful project there, which when it's up and running will provide a great attraction here on the Copper Coast. And by the way, if you have never been to this part of the country, definitely put it on your to visit list. It is stunningly beautiful. All you've got to do is head to Dungarvan and travel east along the coast, or from Tremor you head west. Well, after the break we'll be heading west to County Clare to hear of a boat restoration project which has brought a whole community together.